If anyone here knows Star Wars Rebels, they know that the character of Garazeb Orrelios, or Zeb as he goes by, is one of the best characters in all of Star Wars. A character who shined in his first ever appearance with the Star Wars Rebels show that brought fans to their knees, praising him for just how great of a character that he was. He was funny, cool, and great in action when he was needed. But of course, when Rebels came to an end, and everyone would have probably been wondering, where did he go? And also, where is he going to line up with the new Ahsoka Show coming in August, which is seemingly going to reunite a lot of our Rebels crew back together? The reason I ask those questions is because so far in all the marketing and trailers that we have gotten for the show, he has not been shown off once. It would seem that Zeb is not planning to rejoin our crew and is off with the New Republic doing his own thing. We were showcased that information through The Mandalorian Season 3, where he is seen at the New Republic bar with other pilots, including Captain Carson Teva, so it would seem that his duties are being applied elsewhere for the time being. But who is to say that he won't show up at all once during the season? And after all, he is one of the original Rebels, and since many have spoken about Ahsoka as being Rebels Season 5, it would feel odd to not see him there with the original crew on their mission to stop Thrawn and find Ezra. So that is why this video is going to allow us to theorize and predict what might happen to him and where he'll show up in the show. Comment down below your thoughts on if you think he'll show up, and then let me know what you think he is going to do, because again, deep down I believe he will show up, but I want to know how you think he'll do it. So now that you've basically get the gist of why I'm making this video, let's actually talk about the theory itself that I have come up with. One piece of information that I think is very important that you'll notice with inside of this theory is that you have watched both trailers, you will see that there is no sign of our Rebels crew flying the Ghost, which is Hera's ship. We know it is going to show up at some point in the series, considering LEGO has already come out with their new edition for the Ghost ship for this show. Usually when something like this happens, it basically tells the audience that you are going to see this show up at some point. A recent example of this was with the last Godzilla movie, where, spoilers for people who have not seen that movie, but we saw Mechagodzilla show up at the end, but it had been spoiled before the movie had come out through the toys. But as the trailers have shown, it looks like they are not flying the ship. Instead, they are flying a T6 shuttle instead for the majority of scenes that we have been shown. My theory is that Hera is keeping it locked away somewhere for safekeeping, or she lent it to somebody who might be keeping a safe watch over it. That person I believe she probably entrusted it to was Zeb. After all, as we've seen with The Mandalorian Season 3, he has become a pilot for the New Republic. Hera is also a pilot, but of course we see that she is not flying her own ship, so maybe there's a chance that she lent it to Zeb to watch over in the case of an emergency where the Ghost was actually needed. After all, the ship was mainly used during the war with the Empire, and so during this time period, there is no war and there is no Empire. So maybe Hera instinctively just thought that maybe a ship like that wasn't needed for a time like this, where there is currently some form of peace between everyone in the galaxy. As it is, as well, a ship like that takes a big crew to handle and operate, and right now the Rebel crew is split up, so there wouldn't be too much of a use for it regardless of how powerful the ship actually is. That is why, to connect in with this theory of mine with Zeb, I think you are going to see him show up near the end of this season in a big, very surprise fashion as sort of a savior of the crew that we are going to see on the adventure in Sabine, Chopper, Ahsoka, and Hera. I think there is going to be a conflict between our crew and Thrawn at the end of the season, and in some way they are going to need saving by someone to come in and get them out of a sticky situation. That person will just happen to be Zeb, rolling in with the Ghost to have to get the crew out of that situation and save the day. I think it would be a moment of pure excitement and joy from fans. You will see people losing their minds in a moment like that, because it would be a moment to get hyped about, but then it would also be a moment to get emotional about, because we're talking the fact that they would reconnect all the original crew back together for a mission, and maybe, just maybe, it might also reunite another person to actually fully recomplete the entire crew that's still left alive. That's right, I think you are going to see the season end with not just our entire crew being reunited by Zeb coming in with the Ghost to save the day, but then also a showcase of Ezra finally coming back as well to help save the Rebels crew from Thrawn. It really does sound like a perfect ending to a season as well. Granted, I don't actually think Thrawn will be defeated. I think you're actually going to see both sides come out winning and getting away. I think Thrawn is going to escape with what he's building up with the Empire, and then Zeb and Ezra are going to come in and save the Rebels crew from being defeated in order for them to escape away as well. I truly do believe that you are going to see the season end with no winner, even if each side gets a win in their own way. No one side is going to defeat another. That is why I believe they are going to either save the big end of these characters and their storyline for another season of Ahsoka, or for whatever Dave Filoni's movie is going to be when it releases in the future. As of right now, the Ahsoka Show is currently online labeled as a miniseries, which might mean that this is the only season that we do get, which would lead to Dave Filoni's movie as the actual end chapter of everything. Everything around Thrawn and everything regarding the Rebels, it will all come to an end there in that film. So I apologize if this theory in a way feels like it's trying to do too much to talk about all these different things at once, but that is how it goes with theorizing. You try to connect as many dots as you can and can back them up with enough vital information to feel like the theory will actually make sense. I think that that is how Zeb is going to be incorporated into the show, which will then ultimately lead to the end of how the season will finish. After all, again, like I said, I feel like it would be a little distasteful to not bring that character into the show when we are talking about the fact that you are bringing the entire Rebels crew back together. You simply just cannot do it without Zeb, and you certainly cannot do it without Ezra either, which is why I think it's going to go down that way based on my theory for the final episode, or maybe even the final 2 episodes of this season. But now the most important part of this video is where I come to ask you all what your thoughts are on this theory of mine. Do you think Zeb will show up in some form or fashion, and do you think it will be near the end of the season, like how I am predicting it now with my theory? Drop your comments down below and let me know. If there is any other pieces of information that you might have that could add to my theory also, please let me know, and I will be sure to have a conversation with you about it in the comments. Also, please like the video again if you enjoyed and you want to watch other Star Wars content of mine that I have made and will make in the future. Finally, subscribe to the channel if you are new here. I would very much appreciate that. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and may the Force be with you.